So let's just continue this conversation and now bring in open source intelligence analyst Ryan McBeth and Dean at the Institute of World Politics, James Robbins. Gentlemen, so happy to have you both on. Ryan, I'm going to start with you here. The president warning that any Iran ship that comes close to that U.S. blockade in the Strait of Hormuz will be, quote, immediately eliminated using the same system of kill that we used against the drug dealers on boats at sea. Is quick and brutal. I don't know. Do you think Iran will be, tempt to test these remarks? Do you think that they would be, I don't know the word, stupid enough to do something like that?
Yeah, I don't know if it's Iran. I think it's the insurers. I could say to you, hey, would you like a 95% chance at $1 million and a 5% chance at failing? You'd go, yeah, I'll take that risk. But an insurer, no. An insurer wants a 100% chance. And even Iranian ships, even Chinese ships, they need insurance in order to sail. So that's kind of the scary part here. If you're an insurer, you want nothing to do with any sort of blockade.
Yeah, that you make a fantastic point there. James, Iran slamming the U.S. blockade around its ports as a, quote, grave violation of its sovereignty. What do you make of that? And what do you think their next move truly is?
Well, when they say a violation of their sovereignty, it's in reference to them claiming control of the entire Strait of Hormuz,
right,
which, of course, we don't recognize that. So for us, it's not a violation of anything. It's restoring freedom of navigation in the Strait. And only to ships that we want to have navigate. It's interesting that so far we haven't been boarding or intercepting ships, and the Iranians haven't been attacking any ships, any of our warships or any other ships. We're starting to see a little uptick in traffic, and Iran is representing that as some kind of a score against the United States, like, haha, we can send ships through the Strait. But at the same time, that was what the United States wanted in the first place. So it's really an interesting exchange going on. And we haven't really seen oil prices surging. They're a little bit under 100, and that's where they've been for a couple of days. So the markets at least are discounting both blockades and saying, okay, prices are up, but they haven't been soaring.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting how Iran has been so bold into making it seem or appear like they've got the complete sovereign control over the strait. And like you said, we don't recognize that. But Ryan, let's bring in China. So Chinese President Xi Jinping chiming in on proposing a 4-point framework for, quote, promoting peace and stability in the Middle East. Okay, do you think this is a good idea for him to chime in like this?
I mean, China is getting a little scared right now because their gas prices are at $4.54 a gallon. Now, they price that out in liters, but that's what we would pay, or that's what we think about paying when we're at the pump. And that's pretty darn high. And China has reserves of oil, but a lot of their economy is run on natural gas, and they make cheap plastic crap. And what does that come from? Oil. They have roughly enough oil lasting that can tide them over to around June 8th.
Wow.
After June 8th, they start getting scared. There is a pipeline coming from Russia that provides some oil, but Russia is 100% at capacity. They can't push anything more through that pipeline. So China wants to see this done so they can go back to making cheap crap for the world and getting their military ready to fight Taiwan.
The beginning of June is how long that they potentially have. That is, yeah, of course they want a deal done. James, so the U.S. State Department confirming that Secretary of State Marco Rubio, he will actually be taking part in today's meeting between the Lebanese and Israeli ambassadors. That's actually happening in D.C. What do you think we can actually expect out of those talks?
Well, this is a huge story because Israel and Lebanon are moving closer to normalization. Iran, of course, wants to say, no, this can't be part of those talks. It has to be part of the Iran talks because they're trying to disrupt it. And of course, Hezbollah is denouncing it. But this has been a separate process that's been going on for a couple of years. And it would be huge if Israel and Lebanon could sign a separate peace deal in which both sides would then continue to disarm Hezbollah. And Hezbollah, of course, now is weak because their patron Iran is under fire, can't give them the same support they used to. Their friends in Syria now are gone. So Hezbollah is in tough shape. And this is why the Iranians are trying to make it part of the other peace process. But I think Israel and Lebanon are just going to go right on with what they're doing.
Yeah, and it's interesting. You talk about how weak Hezbollah is, yet they're coming out and saying, we're going to reject any agreement that could possibly come out of those direct talks between Israel and Lebanon today. An interesting statement coming out of them. Ryan McBeth, James Robbins, great insight from you both. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.